have our friend Lucas from Monaco. He is a former Formula One driver. Today is one of the key characters in the new trend in sustainability around pilot driving Formula E. Hi Lucas, how are you? How are you doing?
Hi Aníbal, how are you? Eric and Francisco, thank you very much for the invitation and to be here tonight.
What can we link professional driving with sustainability?
I would say yes, in general, because when people think about sustainability, people think about activism. People think about you should stop doing the stuff you like to do and start hugging trees or using a bicycle. But that's not what sustainability is. Sustainability, in fact, is a gain of efficiency of such systems. And when you talk about racing cars improved the efficiency of the combustion engine so much that in the end we saved a lot of fuel because the technologies were developed during racing, then it was transferred into a conventional car. And the marginal extra that racing was generating of carbon dioxide in the world was very, very minute compared to what is saved from commercial vehicles. So, for example, also on the safety side, so seat belts, not airbags, but seat belts, mirrors, that was all invented in racing. Turbocharged, it was invented in racing and then was transferred to the vehicles, which increase efficiency, increase power for a smaller engine. So yeah, so engine has been, motorsport has been doing that with internal combustion engines for almost 100 years now. Actually, the first car racing was in 1896. So we even joke, as soon as the second car was created, the races started because people like to race each other. So 100 years more or less of evolution on combustion cars, but we are facing now a change in the mobility primary source of energy, going from internal combustion engine, which is chemical energy, transforming to mechanical energy. We are going to electric vehicles, so we're storing we have electrochemical storage in the battery, then going for a pure electric powertrains, transforming to motion. And this transition is huge. So if you think about it, from the beginning of the century to now, we improved the efficiencies of the electric vehicles from 10 to 30%. And now from internal combustion engines to electric, we're gonna go from 30 to 95%. So it's a huge step. So we are going through, and that's why so many EV startups, so many cars, so many companies using that, even for electric vehicles that fly with drones and stuff like this. This is the transformation of the industry that we are seeing today.
Especially for people who do not know the Formula E and what is the Zero project and how they can be linked.
So Formula E, because when we saw that electric vehicles were gonna be the norm in the future, we wanted to use the same process that internal combustion engines use to develop such technologies. We wanted to do the same with electric. So in 2012, Alejandro Agaga, a Spanish businessman, got the license from FIA. He was my ex-team boss. He hired me straight away. There was no company. I was the third person hired there. It was him, his cousin, and me discussing on a room how we were gonna do an electric racing series that could promote electric technology and therefore accelerate this transition from internal combustion to electric. One of the main bottlenecks of this transition is the acceptance of the public. And then we created Formula E in 2012, and the first race was 2014, and now we are in the 7th season with manufacturers like Audi that I race for, Porsche, Jaguar, Nissan, So we have more manufacturers in Formula E than we have in Formula 1 and Indy cars summed up. And that was Formula E. And then, of course, because in 2012 that we saw that this was going to happen, I started a few other projects. I started a project. I was the CEO of RoboRace, which was autonomous, which is still running. RoboRace is basically pushing the same philosophy of Formula E was for electric cars. Now we are doing it for autonomous cars. So the autonomous cars are driving itself against human drivers at very, very high levels. That was 2015. Then last year I started now a micro-mobility world championship called Electric Scooter Championship, so ESC, to promote the same philosophy of accelerating the technology on the micro-mobility segment through racing. So we created a scooter that has 20 horsepower and reaches 150 kph together with Williams in F1. So if you guys want to look, the website for RoboRace is roborace.com, and for the scooter is ESC, so Electric Scooter Championship, ESC.live. You can check it out, and these two projects are very, very linked to Formula E. And then, of course, in a more philosophical way, together with my two colleagues from Harvard, we created the Zero Summit, which was in the middle of the pandemic. So Zero Summit is exactly what the name says. Is a summit, is a discussion, is a conference to discuss technologies that will provide us with a zero net carbon future. So how the companies are adapting, which startups are solving those problems, what problems are emerging from this decarbonization of the industries, different industries, energy production, mobility, agriculture.
You guys got or are thinking about maybe a code of behavior, related with all the teams and how people work in? Yeah.
Everybody that is together in Formula E, they understand that they are doing something which is super special and something which is revolutionizing not only an industry, but could potentially help to accelerate the world to change to an electric mobility in general, zero carbon mobility or zero emissions mobility, to be more precise, at current energy mix. But yeah, so everybody's pushing for the same direction, although we are competing on the race itself, but everybody knows that if we get it better, everybody's going to win it. So there is a lot of synergy between the teams, yes.
Cheers. I know, Lucas, that you're drinking coffee. Allow us to drink. Should we be scared that eventually a autonomous car will beat human pilots?
I'm actually working on this.
Okay.
We are making an autonomous race car to be better than the best human driver ever in every condition. And I'm testing the car every 6 months. I test the car against myself. And in the beginning, we were quite far away, but we are getting better. And that's RoboRace. Actually, the latest video that we released was about this, the latest episode we did, which is basically is AI against me. You can check on my also in my YouTube channel or on my Instagram. There is a video there. And yeah, the, autonomous controls, they will be better than human at everything. For you to understand, more or less biological electrochemical signals, they are roughly 200 times slower than pure electrical transistors currently. So there is an electrochemical delay. And if you think about 200 times slower, by the time the light of the start lights are fading out, the car is already starting. While we need to see that process, send electrical chemical signal to your foot, the muscle needs to contract and you need to press the throttle. So it's just a matter of software. It's a matter of putting the right sensors together, putting a matter of the right code together. But yeah, so far it's not. It's slower. It's still about 3%. But it's just a matter of time that autonomous vehicles will be much safer, much better, much more reactive. And this is going to transform mobility even in a higher degree than what we're seeing with electric.
And about the man who is driving the car, what do you learn? What is when you have this adrenaline in your body in this part? I don't know if these autopilot cars will be feeling that. This is something very unique. But what is your experience? What have teach you this experience in your life?
I have a lot of respect, and I have a lot of passion, and I have a lot of love for the sport that basically made my career so far. And but the technology and the future and the progress doesn't care about what you feel. It moves forward. The computer didn't care about the women which were doing with the writing machine, or digital cameras. They didn't care about Kodak. You just move forward, and we need to adapt, and we need to see these opportunities as a way to become, or a way to navigate these new technologies in a forward-thinking way. Seize the opportunities, go there, understand, and try to create value out of them, instead of just trying to react and say, no, this is never going to happen, or this is not going to. You have to understand the way forward and look at which opportunities are going to arise. Because when some jobs are going to be closed in one side, there's going to be more jobs opening on other sides. When there is a pandemic, the companies which were inefficient, or somehow they are not there, they disappear, but there is a lot of supply chain points which are left open, or even business opportunities which are left open that could be explored. So when there is a crisis, or when there is an evolution of technology, in case, for example, from combustion to electric, there is always opportunities. And I see the same with the pandemic. There is a lot of opportunities, a lot of companies that, of course, is sad. Nobody's happy with that. But you have to look in a way of moving society forward. You cannot look in a way back and say, if that, or this is the cause, or this is the excuse. You have to move forward. And that's what I like about my sport, and what I've been doing in this past 15 years.
Salud, Lucas.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
In this moment, you are going to use, probably you were able to see Back to the Future, the movie, and you are going to drive the car from Back to the Future, and you are a driver. It will be easy for you. I hope it will be an electrical one, or maybe it will be even better than electrical. So the point is, you will be driving that car, and you will have the choice to pick one place or one time in history where you want to go. It can be either the future, can be the past, or can be just right now. You have to make that choice. My question is, to which season or which place would you like to go? Why, and what would you like to do at that time?
Well, first, the car from Back to the Future is nuclear, right? So it's actually it's quite green, so it's quite okay. I think the future of humanity is going to be better than the past. I wouldn't go back to the past. I would go to the future if I had the chance to. And I think it would be very interesting to see. I think the next 100 years of the human species will define a lot of us. Will define already if we're going to go to interplanetary, if we're going to go to different planets, if we're going to cure the disease of aging, which is it's already considered disease. Are we going to live 200, 300 years? Are we going to upload our consciousness into a machine? And we're going to live and how biological life will evolve compared to digital life and AI, what AI is going to do. So answering to your question, I would go to the future, maybe to 2100, and see how we are doing in Mars or something like this. I'd like always to go to a different planet and see how humans are perpetuating the human species, and if humanity has succeeded, and if humanity would go through this filter to become a multiplanetary species and expand or we're gonna be fighting each other here on Earth. So I would like to go to the future and understand what humanity has done. That would be my answer.
Lucas,
Thank you, Lucas.
Lucas, this is as optimistic as it can be. Nobody has answered the future. Everybody we go to the past. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the conversation. It was amazing and great questions. And thank you very much for everybody. Cheers.
Bye.
Nos la tomamos en serio.